Continuing to follow the very long ride home for more than 4,000 people aboard that Crippled Carnival cruise ship. As you know, they set out on what was supposed to be a 4-day trip to paradise. Instead, they were forced to sleep amongst human waste. They used plastic bags as toilets, and they had to deal with food shortages as that crippled ship was towed ever so slowly back to land. Well, now that those passengers are back on dry land, they're sharing their firsthand accounts of the nightmare conditions that became their reality. Laura Harris joins us live now from the Satellite Center with more. It's unbelievable what they had to endure, Laura.
It truly is, Dia. I mean, something that none of us that didn't have to experience would ever be able to imagine. And listen to this. I just called it up on the Carnival's website. They're saying that that ship, the Triumph, this isn't the first time they've had an issue. In late January, there were propulsion problems with that exact ship. Well, now, as you can see here, these are pictures of just before those people were able to get off the ship. Nonetheless, the ship went out to sea even after having those problems, and now passengers are talking about those conditions they had to deal with.
Sewer kept backing up, and there would be 6 inches of it all over the ship in the dining area where we had to eat.
Brooklyn Burgess says the disgusting conditions went from bad to worse. It all started Sunday when a fire in the engine room burned out the ship's 4 engines, rendering the massive vessel lifeless, adrift in the Gulf of Mexico. When the power was lost, the plumbing on board the ship went with it. Passengers forced to use the restroom in hazard bags, then instructed to throw those bags into the hallway. They say at times raw sewage was seeping through the carpet and the walls. The stench forcing many passengers on the top deck of the ship in hopes of escaping the smell. Not just uncomfortable and for many unbearable, but at times a very scary experience.
A few little medical emergencies, and I hope and pray that they're okay.
And while hundreds of passengers painted a horrific picture of the scene on board the cruise liner, some kept an optimistic perspective.
It played music, and it was, we drank club soda and Sprite and Coke, so that's what we did.
Carnival has offered each passenger $500, a free flight home, a full refund for their trip, and most of the expenses while on that ship, as well as a comped cruise. Many say they won't be taking advantage of the free cruise, though. Others, like Rob Kenny, say it's still a possibility.
I would, yeah. I mean, it's going to take a while. It's not going to be like next week or anything. So, I'd hate to have this happen in Alaska. That would be kind of brutal.
And while many of those passengers aboard the ship enjoyed smooth sailing, so to speak, after they hit dry land, others had yet another issue to deal with. Their bus broke down on the way to the hotel once they got back to land. I'm actually speaking to some of those passengers coming up in just a couple of minutes. Stay with us.
Thank you, Laura. Right now we have team